right, y'all. I don't always talk ish, but when I do it with a little tea and vodka. What's up, y'all? That used to be a thing, right? We used to have to talk about the drink, what we were drinking, what we were going to be doing. Man, let me run through this real quick. Filipino Reefer was on like an hour and a half early, not that early. It was on early. Braveheart, Aquatic Aura. That's fancy. I like that. Bahama Llama, Remy. Thank you, sir. That's all up early, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Wayne Scott, you were never too early, sir, and you are always welcome. You got the digits. Give a brother a call. I'm more than happy to catch up with you. Hope you've been doing well. John Silva, Paula Powell, Steve Russell, Carlos. Hello, sir. What up, B? Algae Warrior. I screwed this up, don't I? I'm going to roll with Lewis, Sleaze, Scotty, another Sleaze, and I'm just now catching up here. Taylor, Bert. Look at everybody. Look at everybody. What's up, Cam? One of the most positive humans on the planet. Remy, thank you again. You're getting me early. You're getting me early. All right, we got some stuff to get to. Let's do this. We can do a little bit of this. Let me pull this up right. We can get through to, you know what? Space is real, people. Space is real. And we probably talked about this last week, but I'm going to talk about it again. Helicopters in space, which is pretty sweet. NASA flying around a freaking helicopter on Mars. I dig that. I like RC. I think RC is fun. It's a little hot in here because the stupid printer's printing and the fan's on, so if you can hear that, I'm sorry. And so I think helicopters in space, I think that's freaking awesome. Oh, hey, you know your controller? How far back does your controller provide data? GHL goes back 3 years. That's a hell of a lot of data. I like data. I like being able to look back when things were good and seeing what was up. And 3 years worth of data is spectacular. Go ahead. Everybody else with controllers that ain't GHL, go back and show me some July. Show me some August 2020. I can. That's fancy. I like that kind of action. We'll get to this. I needed a way to hold a sock in a bucket, and it's a round bucket, and it's got a square thingy there, and I don't care because it works. I think we talked about that last week. Am I going the wrong way? I don't think so. Sometimes I go the wrong way. I busted out the OG Civic. Yeah, I did. That's a stick shift hybrid. I got it running. Drove it to work. It's quite fancy. You're not going to be collecting data when your Apex is disconnected. I don't know. The thing was probably still recording, right? This is the one in the garage on the quarantine tank. I don't know. Oh, is this wrong? I don't want to talk about that. This thing. We're going to make this. I shared this. We're going to make this. And we're not going to charge $520. We're going to use the AliExpress bars. And we're going to use acrylic. And I think we can do it for $200 or less for 24-inch, two 24-inch bars. So that's 300 and what? $40? No, that's not right. Yeah, that's close. 340. So look, you're almost getting $200 for 4 pieces of metal. Come on. Negative. This guy. It feels like I've already done this. This guy in a Camry. This guy in a 4-cylinder Camry with some mufflers and some stickers and some new plastic on his car decided to go. And I was like, I respect that. I respect you going, but you're not gonna go. Because I'm gonna go. Car caught it. Did we talk about this last week? I kind of feel like we did. Maybe we didn't. Watch this. Watch this piece of wood. This is unfortunate. My car is always recording. Oh, that guy had a crappy weekend. Watch him. Watch him. Hand on the hip. Son of a... Oh, hey. that light. I haven't tested it yet, so I got to leave you dangling, much the way I'm holding this light. Oh, yeah, it's cleaned up. No longer is it twisty tied together. That's the inside of Big Red, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, sitting right here. I got it all cleaned up. Looks pretty good. At least I think it looks good enough. Y'all know I like the GHLs. You know I like the GHL matrices too. I like that light. I got that thing pretty well dialed in where it's really close to a metal halide 20K Hamilton or radium. Pretty close. We can talk about this. Should we talk about this? Let me write this down. NaOH. Nothing to see here. Just a whole bunch of, 4 people showing up in a SpaceX rocket, connecting to the space station, climbing through with their nice shirts on and pants, and giving everybody hugs. Just a bunch of astronauts hanging out in space, hugging it out. That's what I'm talking about. You can't hear this, but that's my dose going. These may still be available. And if so, if you want a controller and you've been thinking about a controller, $535.43 before tax at BRS for 2 open boxes, this is worth a look. If you're interested in a controller, jump on this. Is a way to get in there. This was the little work I was doing this was yesterday, actually. I was cleaning up Big Red, grab this light. These Venturi Vortex nozzles from the internet, I love these things. This one is Ocean Box Design Modified. This one's my modified. He took my modified and made it more better. And he did an excellent job. This is pretty disruptive flow, and I like it. Almost as disruptive as talking about these things. This is Chris Meckley. Chris Meckley, the master of the T5s and the metal halides, who said he'd never use LEDs, checking the par underneath an LED because he's got a bunch of these coral care hanging in his place down there in, I can't remember what it's called, Florida. Something about green plants or plants green or grow some corals. That should be a town name. This is resistance is futile. We'll talk about that. Oh, a little more Big Red with the OG Grandpa battery in the back, but you know better because I've already placed the guts in that one. But this thing's actually worth the money. This is questionable. I think this is a big old ripoff. We have to talk. I think the only time we've really talked about solar and having a decent backup power system to a Reef tank was when I was really drunk in December. I think we need to get back to this topic. I want to know if people are truly interested in discussing this. I know I've shared a little bit here and there, but maybe we put together a kit that's reasonable that you can do at home, even without solar, to sufficiently back up the critical systems on your tank. Let me know. This is old. This is out of Vandenberg, California, but this is a freaking SpaceX Falcon 9 coming back after doing what it does. And I just dig how this one is flying sideways and it hooks a turn, lights it up, and then sticks the landing. I mean, look. Tell me that's not badass. Even, whatever. It's not fake. Even if you don't like space. That's cool to be able to do that. Throw your pencil across the room and have it land on the eraser. After it makes a sonic boom. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this was charging. It's really a boring picture. Oh. With these here gators, I can clip, we'll talk about it, I suppose. Or no, this is good enough. I can clip this to another battery, or like the battery in my car, plug this in and keep Big Red running through a power outage. Think about that. You can have Big Red to do its business, but then you can also add more power later. Oh, hi, Mom. Where are you? Picture of frag tank. Frag tank's still alive. I got some color in there. Alkalinity continues. Uptake continues to improve. I haven't put any new acros in there because I'm not ready for that yet. I don't want to lose anything. I got to find, I don't know. I got to find a piece of that. Oh, there's people who have this. John Curry, who is hanging out in New Hampshire right now at OSA. I think he's got a big old colony of that green tenuous that he grew from a piece I gave him. I need to bust off a piece of that and see if that thing survives. And we're all caught up. Whew. How'd you like the slideshow? Was the slideshow fun? Let me catch up here. Add me to the interested list in the solar project. Why did that block? That's the weirdest thing. All right. Hey, Dad. How you doing? Hanging out at Walmart. There it is. My parents are chilling in an RV. Starting a new chapter of their existence. What's up, Chris? Wrong in Espanol. Luis. Is that better? I don't want to do Luis. Is it Luis? Is that close? Hope that's close. What's up, Noah? Ingenuity was awesome to show us. Yeah, man. Chris, that was right. Did you see its most recent flight? The thing took off, went hauling ass, and then off camera, out of the frame, and then came back and landed. I think it's pretty cool. Yes, so look, think about it, right? One day when we're chilling on Mars, we could fly around that planet. I think that's pretty sweet. I don't know what we're going to see. It's going to be looking like the desert a lot, but whatever. 3D printing complements all my hobbies so well. Must have, honestly. Yeah, right? I agree. Reef Pi is not limited except by the amount of storage you have plugged in. I need to play with that, I guess, right? That's the one controller I don't have. I don't know that there's a controller I don't have other than Reef Pi. Somebody make me one of those so I don't have to do it, and I'll pay you. That would be worth fiddling with. There's some love going on out here. Black Pearl. Big Red looks Big Red looks cleaned up. I don't know about fancy. If only the world would follow their lead. So many countries hug it. Oh, totally. Agreed, Remy. Totally agreed. Plant City, that's what it was. Wayne Scott, you were chilling? Oh, yeah? Tell me about that. Was that cool? Solar project, yeah. Wayne, Remy, saying hi to my mom. Way interested to learn about solar. Okay. Hey, Casey. Cool. Would love to get into 3D printing, but afraid of going down another rabbit hole. Jump in that hole. Jump in that hole. What's up, Justin? Your corals are doing well. For real. Scottsdale. Scottsdale would be nice, right? Selfish TV. I'm just making my way through. What up, Gabe? Making my way through Algae Ward. Yep. Swift Sparks. Just got the kiddo bathe. Watch it live. Right on. All right, I got it. Thank you, Louise. You've been called worse, as have I. I deserve it for the most part, I think. Hold on, let me get going. Not a little Jack and Coke. This is tea and vodka. I was doing a little sour apple with some simple syrup and vanilla yesterday. It was quite fancy, a little pinky up business. So I decided to go this way. People keen, do they realize they pass it all the rocket? You know what? People, and I talked about this a little bit with, who was it? It was Greg? I think it was Greg. Yeah, it was Greg Carroll. People love failure. I don't know why, right? People dwell on other people's failures, other companies' failures. They just eat that crap up. Ultimately, I think it's because it makes them feel better about their paltry existence, right? So in order to prop themselves up, in order to feel better, they put down somebody else. Well, that's dumb. But that's what happens, right? I think it's awesome that SpaceX is crashing the crap out of Starship because they're going to nail it. And I can tell you right now, I was cheering in my car when that one sort of landed sideways and hung out for a while before it blew up. They'll nail it. They'll get there. And then what? What are they going to complain about? Somebody else failing. They'll just move on. So the Nye crew has 0 to 10 slots. Yep, it does. How do I utilize that? Don't have a controller at the moment. Well, you need a controller. Algae Warrior, you need a controller to start with. May I interest you in 2 open box GHL starter kits at Bulk Reef Supply for $535.43 before tax. Yeah, you need 0 to 10. You could realistically add a rheostat on an 1/8 inch phono plug, whatever that is in millimeters. I can't think about it right now. 2.5? No, that's not right. Maybe. And then you could just dial that light. But that's manual dimming. That's not what you're after. I assume you're looking for ramp up, ramp down. Controller. I'd like to be in beautiful but hot, not so much hot Arizona right now. Scottsdale, that doesn't suck, right? Heard on another live stream today that raising temp in a tank to help fight dinos is bad. John, if I am listening to Practice Squad 1, who knows some stuff about some stuff, raising temperature in a tank can also foster or can promote bad bacteria to propagate, to proliferate, and I don't think you want that either, right? I would stay the course. I would search out other dino solutions, of which there are a couple. Talk to Reef dudes, talk to Dr. Timms, hit them up directly and see what they have to say. Some of those solutions are viable and won't require you to raise your temp. In fact, I'd argue you should take your temperature to 76 or 77 just to try to help keep back some of that bad bacteria. It may impact good as well, but, I don't know. I run my tank at 77. DIY 50-gallon build going today, Black Pearl. A couple of Black Storm Clowns. That's cool. If I had money, I would get the GHL. Yeah, recommend that. I've had a great experience. Those things are awesome. That launch Friday was awesome. About 15 minutes. Matt, you're killing me. I want to come down and see it. Falcon Heavy's supposed to go again this year at some point, right? I'd love to see the 2 boosters come back. I have to see those things at least flying back towards Earth, not necessarily land. I would love to see that too. I got to figure that out. I may have to work from home in a motorhome, camped on the side of the road to get a good spot for a while. I don't know. That's something I'd really like to do. Carlos, you mentioned raising temperature. Is that right? I know others have. I'm just not a... Maybe that's not what we're talking about. Remind me. Have you played with your new Amazon Light? Nope. I have it. I plugged it in. We'll plug it in. But I haven't fiddled with the controls on that thing at all. And it comes with a remote, and I don't like the mount. It's got a brass insert where you screw in the clampy thingy for the side of a tank, and I'm not all about that. All right, when I come to Florida to see a launch, y'all will know about it, and then everybody can yell at me where I'm supposed to go. I'd like to see what's up. All right, let's get to this. So I talked about those nozzles a little bit. I have them here. This is me not being prepared. You know, I've been printing the design off of Thingiverse. Had a copper band die last night after second day. Really? Oh, that sucks. That sucks. What does cyanide poisoning look like, Bert? Does a fish get like lethargic or something, or swim around in circles, do something funny? What do you feel about cycling a tank with coral instead of fish? I would cycle it, Justin. I'd cycle a tank with Dr. Tim's all day long. Tim's is my go-to. I trust that stuff. I think he knows better. I don't have proof of that. It's just my gut. Raise the temp very slow. Also mentioned that. I did UV feeding heavy in a frag tank. I can say it worked. Yeah, I mean, people absolutely have good luck with that. UV does help. And raising temp does help. It concerns me. So as long as you don't tip the balance on the bad bacteria, totally agree. For dino, add PO4 and NO3 and manually remove a lot of it. There are so many different solutions for that stuff. Talking about these nozzles, right? This is the VCA one, Vivid Creative Aquatics. And I talked to the originator of this nozzle, a dude named Chris, who lives in Florida, who is the original poster on Thingiverse, as well as a couple other locations online. And he and I talked for a while, and he provided a lot of information. It's interesting to see how the world works. Just know that Chris has graciously granted me permission, even though his license on Thingiverse says you can't sell the designs, you can only make them for your personal use. Chris has granted me written permission to print these nozzles, whatever nozzles I decide to make. The Venturi Vortex nozzles. I haven't done that yet. I think there's a couple design changes I'd like to make to Chris's, but it's not that big of a deal. But Ocean Box Designs and I have been fiddling around with a couple different design versions, and I'm pretty happy. Ocean Box Design took mine, made it better, and threw it back at me, and I was like, that works way better. So I threw it on my tank, and I really like that. So super easy to do, super easy to print. Let me know if you're interested in these. I also have a buddy of mine that's interested in modifying it maybe a little for my use. And I'd throw that at Ocean Box Designs and see what he has to say about it. But it was really interesting to talk with the guy who originally came up with this nozzle. And that's not VCA. And get his opinion on how everything kind of went down. But, you know, the internet's a small place. Somebody reached out to me and said, yo, I know him. I was like, hook me up. And I got to talking. And it was pretty interesting. Circles and head up. That sucks. Increase feeding only. Dinos. So that was a PO4 thing? Or that was probably an NO3 thing. Bert? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Carlos. I trust Carlos's opinion. And he's saying it right there. He knows. He'll try it first before he's going to tell anybody else to try these things. Those nozzles. So there's that. That was an enjoyable conversation. I like finding out the real answer instead of just listening to somebody telling me like a second party. I like hearing it from the source. I got it from the source. I pretty much have the whole story. Big Red. Let's switch up cameras. Oh, it always makes me happy when that camera works. So this thing is done. First, this is the 12 volt side. So 12 volt for Ecotech, 12 volt for regular power heads that don't have the tiny little Ecotech plugs. 24 volt on this side for all those 24 volt power heads that you may have, like Jabos. This is the 20 amp hour battery. You can store stuff in here, obviously. But this is the 20 amp hour Miati battery, lithium iron phosphate battery that I've chosen to use in this iteration of the box. I think I'm going to change that. I showed that the other day. But these are 32 amp hour. This is a 32 amp hour cell, and I got 3 more of these coming, so I can make a sweet 32 amp hour version of this battery here that'll fit in here a whole lot better, right? This will give me way more space if I could drop this down, scooch this stuff around a little bit, lay this flat, gets it out of the way. Then I could put maybe a tray on top for storage stuff, like the air pump and whatever else I want to put in here, like the charger or the like the gator clips thing, to be able to store those inside the box. But yeah, it cleaned up. This is the fuse for the inverter. But it cleaned up okay, yeah? This is a little bit better than what it was before, I think. It's really easy to make. This was $191 flat. So a lot of capability for what, $14 more than what you get from Ecotech, which is just a $38 lead acid battery, $1.50 worth of connectors, a $5 power supply, and a case for $173. So it is $50 worth of stuff for $173. This one, I showed this before. This one's got USB charging, so you can charge your phone, and it also has a cigarette lighter port. And I apologize for those of you who've already seen this. For plugging in a small inverter. All right. Which you can then use I haven't done this, so I don't know if it's going to work. Let's see what happens. To power a light from the battery. It's currently using... Oh, it's not using a lot at all. Oh, I can show. I don't know if you can see this. Right now it is using... Holy crap! That's more than I expected. It's pulling 100 watts. This is all channels at 100%. And it is 8.5 amps. Which you can't see, but I can. Maybe I can turn this around. There you go. 8.5 amps, 105 watts coming out of this light. All being powered by this battery. Now, you wouldn't normally do this because it's going to drain the battery. But it'll do this for quite a while, right? Is that cool? I kind of dig that. So, do that with your Ecotech battery. All this is safe. All this is non-flammable. All this is easy to make for the most part. Somebody suggested to me that I make the box and then you source the battery. And you can put whatever kind of battery you want in here as long as it fits, right? So that's something to consider. You need a battery. This this might be a thing. I don't know. Let me know what you think. What I really need is enough people to go, yeah, that's kind of, yeah, and then we, then we talk about it some more and see what's up. Please hold. Another one, let's see. What up? Andrew. What do we talk about Death of T5? That's practice squad. T5 until you die. No, it's not. It's T5 until you can't buy them anymore. Because that will be a thing. So everybody's hoarding them. Because that's, by 2030, they're gone. It's just not, they're not going to be available. And if it actually makes it that long, I'm going to be blown away. So it's not T5 until you die. It's T5 until you can't buy them anymore. But that's okay. Need my own big red sleeves. Can leave everything plugged in when power goes off and it automatically works. I mean, yeah. If you're running Ecotech drivers, absolutely. That will do exactly what the Ecotech battery does and more. If you wanted to do other things, this for me is more of a grab and go. Like if power goes out, then you just go plug stuff in. But if you're going to drive Ecotech Vortex, then yep, it'll do exactly what, wherever that is, it's downstairs. Whatever the Ecotech battery does, this does. Only it just does it better. Whatever happened to the diagram you were going to make of the battery backup toolbox? Casey, I just finished it yesterday. Kuya Jets. Yeah, I'll draw it. I think this is the final design. So now I can draw it because I just finished it, like I said, yesterday. I get that you say that it's easy to make, but I still don't know how to make it because I only saw that one video. Yes, I know. But I mean, if you think about it for a little while, you might be able to do it. It's surprisingly easy. First step is go buy a battery. I bought 6 batteries today. Big batteries. Did you? What kind of big batteries, Dad? Did you get you some Battleborns? And if so, I know how much money you spent. Let me know what you got. Hopefully you didn't get lead acids, but I know it may not be time for lithium iron phosphates yet. Let me know. Source, yeah. So if I piece together this in a simple way, because actually it wasn't that easy. Actually, everything was easy except for the stupid little side ports, because the way those are configured sucks. I need to come up with a better way. And Andrew Newton, you could die by 2030. I mean, if you're old like me, I suppose that's possible. But yeah, everything is generally pretty easy to do in that box. And I am almost certain that I could teach almost everybody how to make it. What's up, Phil? Phil with you. Man, your tank is beautiful. Every time I see that damn thing. I'd buy that battery over the Ecotech any day. Way more features, better quality, in my opinion. I appreciate that. I would argue it's the same quality. The only difference in quality from my perspective is the battery, because that lead acid in that thing is, in the Ecotech one, is junk. That's just not how I roll. What is the efficiency of the step up? Probably a little north of 90%. But you can add more batteries to this, so at some point the efficiency doesn't matter, especially if you're in the middle of an outage and you got enough battery to cover you. Doesn't matter at all. A Tesla Powerwall. A ripoff? A Tesla Powerwall is not a ripoff at all. Nope, not yet, but I did spend a lot. 2 lead acid for the engine. That's a big old engine, too. 4 AGMs for the coach. Gotcha. We'll get you switched over. We'll make that. We could probably make, if you want to make, we could probably make. If you're not going to do a whole lot of cold weather stuff where you don't have to throw a temperature cutoff, a cold weather charge cutoff in there, we could probably get you set up. We'll talk. I'm going to make a big battery. Now, as far as I'm concerned, a Powerwall is not a ripoff. I think from Tesla's point of view now, you need to buy solar with a Powerwall. They're bundled together. I don't think you can get them separately. But no, not at all a ripoff. I would love one. Power just doesn't go out enough here. I have this thing covered, right? I got the solar thing. I got the batteries thing. I got a couple portable batteries that are lithium iron phosphate, and I have 2 generators. So I have pretty much everything covered. Where I like the Powerwall is power's not going to go out when you're home, where you can go out and get the generator, fire it up, and be good to go, right? If I'm going to lose power, it's going to be when I'm not home, when I'm at work, or when I'm traveling, or when I'm whatever. That's where a Powerwall makes a whole lot of sense to me. All right. T5s and metal halides. Let's see. Metal halides are gone by the end of 2023 because I think you're going to find yourself in a position where the German manufacturers are unable to make bulbs due to regulatory requirements. You're just not going to be able to do it. It's going to be like incandescence in Europe. They're going to go. So that's by the end of 2023. Everybody put this crap in your calendar and then start DMing me when I'm wrong. But I think I'm right. There's already some production drops, and there's already some manufacturers stating privately that it's probably going away. So that's 2023. End of. Now you're also seeing the same. What's this say? Oh, am I dropping frames? Let me know if I'm dropping frames, and I'll turn down my bit a little bit. I wonder if somebody's cranking on my. It's higher than a recommended. Let me know. Let me know if I'm dropping frames. Sorry. Work question real quick. T5s. The end of 2030. T5s are gone in 9 years. For pretty much the same thing. Because LED is just going to take over. So put that in your calendars. Do I think the Germans will outsource to China? I don't know what the rules, what their laws, what regulatory is going to drive. You may see, I don't know. Would the Chinese really be interested in picking up such an incredibly small market? No. I would argue no, because a lot of what you're seeing coming out of China, I got 59 people watching this thing. Well, that's because I'm talking smack about lights. Thanks, Black Pearl. A lot of what you're seeing coming out of China is LEDs, right? Reef breeders comes from China. A whole lot of lights come from China, right? Orphic, Chinese. LEDs, China, right? I don't see China spending the money for the tooling to create reefing metal halides. Oh, that thing's done printing. For such a tiny market, it just doesn't make fiscal sense. So, I'm starting to see the shift, right? We're all starting to see the shift. I already said, like Meckley at ACI, he says he's diehard metal halide in T5. But now he's installing LEDs. And it wasn't that long ago where he's like, nope, not doing it. In whose was it? Somebody's interview. It may have been Devon's. And now he's got some Phillips coral cares hanging over his tank. Look at Than. Than Tidal Gardens used to be all T5 in his greenhouse. The new facility is all LEDs. It's turning. Worldwide Corals, all LEDs. They're all going to go. Now, you got the hoarders, right? The people who are going to buy all the bulbs for 5 or 10 years worth of bulbs. And that's going to happen. It's also going to drive the prices up. So put it in your calendars. End of 2023, metal halides. End of 2030, I'll still be around. I got to watch some Mars landings. End of 2030, no more T5s. It just doesn't make any sense. When I can take an LED and I can mimic using the proper tools, right? Once everybody has access to a spectrometer, they're going to figure out that, oh, what I've been told isn't necessarily accurate. I can take a spectrometer and I can mimic damn near every metal halide spectrum that exists. It's hard to get the blues as narrow as a metal halide, but everything else I could mimic. Same thing goes for T5. It's inevitable. 9 years is longer than most people Reefs last. Maybe. It's irrelevant though, right, Swift? I mean, that's irrelevant. I mean, my tank's been running for almost 9 years. Thanks, Paula Powell. Thank you so much. Buy more LEDs and solar. I will. I want to give some stuff away too. I would love to give away a freaking solar charge controller. But we got to work up to stuff like that. Really need a T5 LED retrofit kit. Andrew, is that to go from T5 to LED? Because that's super easy to do. If that's what you're looking to do, then that's very easy to do. There's still millions of metal halide lamps and street lights around the world. Yep. They'll go away. That's inevitable. And the metal halides that you're seeing in street lights are not the ones you're gonna have in your Reef tank. Those are different bulbs. It's the specialty bulb market. I don't know that the aquarium specialty bulb market is enough to sustain manufacturing and to sway regulatory opinion. It's just not going to happen. Manufacturers like Giesman, done by the end of 2023. We'll see what happens. What else did I see? Oh, I had another question about the Philips Coral Care, because it was an interesting comment that Meckley said talking about Terrence at Neptune. Terrence told Meckley to try the Coral Cares. And then Terrence is going to be, at some point, selling the Sky, right? The Neptune Light. So I find it interesting that the Neptune guy tells the Coral Farmer guy to try these LEDs when the Neptune guy is fixing to release an LED. My money, and call me out when I'm wrong, because I'll totally take it. I'll deserve it. My money is the Sky is made by Philips. That's my guess. I hope it's not as big and dumb looking, because it is big and dumb. It's nice it doesn't have a fan, but it's big and dumb. I still like to play with it. I had it 175 doubled as a heater. Yeah, they're a little warm, right? I mean, Reef Bum. Keith loves his metal halides, and he has every right to. He's growing some interesting corals. The corals grow like crazy for him. And, I mean, I've tested, how many have I tested? 2 or 3? I think 2 metal halide fixtures. One of them still in my garage. It's a really interesting light. It certainly isn't a single point like Kessel wants you to believe, right? Because they're trying to equate their single light to a metal halide single light. Metal halide's 360, and it reflects in that big reflector, and it expands through reflection instead of expanding through a lens. It's kind of a different thing, but what else did I see recently? Wasn't it the Philips that went on sale as well? Like a significant amount off? That tells me something, right? So we'll see. I say the Neptune Sky is Philips, and I say metal halide, gone by the end of 23, and I say T5's gone by the end of 2030. Call me out. I'm seeing everybody move. Look, once you saw ATI make a LED, that's enough for me. I should do a stream on solar backup for the tanks. Totally. I'm happy to do that. I'd like to put another 400 watts up on the roof. There's 400 watts right now. I'd like to put another 400 on this side. It wouldn't be effective at all in the winter, but really what solar is. Maybe I could just put it on this side with those panels. Put another in series. Does that get me there? Put another in series and then 3 more in parallel with those. And I'd be able to, I mean, all I'm using the solar for is to run the critical systems on the tank during the day and to charge the battery, because once the sun goes down, it switches back over to house power, city power, grid power, and then it acts just like a UPS. I would dig, Sleaze. I would dig. Like if I moved and I had a big roof, because I'm in a townhouse, like a small roof. If I moved and I had a big roof, I would absolutely have whole house solar, not sour, solar. And I would have a battery on the house, totally. Sun power. Yeah, Mighty Nanotank has one of those. It's a nice fixture. Chris, you've aligned with me, huh? I think Terrence telling Chris to try the Coral View. Not Coral View. Try the Coral Care. And the Coral Care going on sale. Right now, right? The timing suggests the sky is a Philips. Adam, what are you telling me? I've been saying that all along. Phil, what are you saying? The sky will be a rebrand. Oh, see? Phil's with me. I like that. Terrence has been running a Coral Care for several years. Gen 1 over his Reef. Okay, so that's 3 of us. What's up, May? You didn't miss anything. I want to see the study LED spectral shift over time. So that one, Paula Powell, why? What do you think you're losing? Thanks, Carlos. That's very cool of you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Dude, I kind of owe you. And I saw you wash that truck, and it's still beautiful. I need to see that one day. I'll buy you lunch. Deal? Let's talk about spectral shift. What's the big deal? Like, a 450 nanometer? I think this is a marketing thing. I think this is a bit of a marketing thing. Do you really think a 450 nanometer shifting to 452 is going to cause a negative impact on your tank? I don't. I really don't think it is. I think what you see I had it happen with my Reef Bright with an LED that's not properly cooled or is driven a little too hot. They start to brown the little plasticky lenses that are over top of them, which absolutely causes them to dim or to block photons. I think that's a bigger problem than shifting a couple of nanometers left or right. I don't think that is a problem at all. Yeah, 10% off a Coral Care Gen 2 is a significant amount. That's a lot. So that tells me closeout. That tells me let's ditch a whole lot of stock before we announce the sky. Like a collaborative effort across all of the map priced distributors and Philips themselves. That's what I'm thinking. That doesn't look like Apple. No. Are you talking about this? This is tea and vodka. Casual reefing? That's a super good question, too, because I've been thinking about that. What light would you recommend for deeper tanks? Please hold. I mean, how big of a tank? And like how deep? I want to do a 90. Somebody near me needs to come up with a 93-gallon cube because I had one. I was like, man, I'm going to give you money for that. And then it broke. They moved it and it broke, and I was bummed. And that would be a significantly deeper tank than what I have right now. And I would use Radions or the Mitras. I would probably, what would I do? That's an interesting question. If I had if it was me and I had a 93-gallon cube, I'd put 4 150 to 180 watt lights over top of it. So I'd probably do 2 Gen 4 XR30s and 2 Mitras LX7s. And I would try to dial in those Spectrum to be complementary. Right, the Mitras can absolutely mimic metal halides in a really good way. It's kind of tuned that way, and the Radions handle deeper blues, like 410 nanometers, really well. So I kind of like the wider light. I've absolutely transitioned that way. That's the way the frag tank looks. So if I were doing that, I would do some big lights over top of that. Make it for what? Make it for batteries? T5 replacement. Oh, yes. So, yeah, Adam, people need to do that. People need to create LED tubes that are direct replacement for T5s. That should be a thing, right? It's at T8s. That's a thing. That's a thing at work. I go buy a whole bunch of LED T8s, but what you can't buy is a 450, 470 nanometer drop-in bulb for a T5 fixture. I think that's a stopgap. I think that's one of those. You just need to cut bait, right? You just need to pull that T5 fixture and just go all in. Get yourself an LED that can replicate the spectrum of your favorite T5 mix and go from there. I was talking with somebody today, and they were talking about how the corals look differently, right? How they grow differently under T5 and how they grow differently under LED. I was like, no shit. Guess what? That happens across LEDs as well. The frag tank, where I have Mitras, which are a completely different spectrum. They're close, but it's a different spectrum than the XR30 that's over my display. Those two tanks share water. It's the same water. And the elevation of the lights are the same. So the PAR is essentially the same. Spread's essentially the same. The coral in the display absolutely look different than the coral in the frag tank. So you're going to have, no matter what light you use, no matter what photon generator you're using, your corals are going to look different unless you're using the same across multiple systems. That kind of thing. Cool. I get to buy coral. I get to buy Carlos lunch. I look forward to that. Yeah, Chris, that's not a big deal. Moki's been running that Fuge light for a long time. Where I was really disappointed is that's like a 2 or 3 year old light that they rebranded and kept the same price and dropped features from the original. I don't know why that thing's not $20 cheaper. That's what I'm disappointed in. Of course they rebranded, and of course they didn't drop the price. That's a moneymaker. The margin on that light is spectacular. They're making a lot of money. How do I feel about rum? Let me think about this. In 1989, I went to Puerto Rico for 3 weeks. I had been in the Air Force about a year, and I'm unleashed with a whole bunch of my work friends on an island with a lot of rum and a lot of beaches and not a lot of work. We were there to maintain the KC-135s that were refueling the fighters during the Reagan drug interdiction years. So the tankers would go up and hit the fighters. They'd gas them up. The fighters would drop down and start blowing up boats, smuggling drugs. Tankers didn't break that much. So we had a lot of time. So a lot of snorkeling and a whole lot of rum. And there was this one day where I met Captain Morgan, and Captain Morgan kicked my ass all over Puerto Rico. And I've just recently, seriously, 1989, just recently have I been able to enjoy some rum. That's where I stand. I'm wondering phosphorus degradation, especially from cheaper LED. I agree, cheaper, yes. Significant ship. So what I would love to see that. So what do I need to do? Do I need to run one of my Ocean Revives in my garage, measure spectrum, put it out there, run it at 100% for a year or two, and then measure spectrum? What would be a decent experiment to show that? Because an Ocean Revive is going to have cheap LEDs. I mean, it's going to have cooling, right? It's going to be it's going to be cooled well. I think, I don't know. That's a decent sacrificial light. I could probably pull that off. I got a couple of those out in the garage. I could do it with the Dodge Viper, right? I could do it with the Viper Spectra. That'd be sweet. Put together a light package to sell. May, I'm always going to point people in the right direction, right? For the most part, right? We've talked about this a little bit on the stream. I don't need to make money doing this. I don't need to take your money for you to do something, to give you something that you can do yourself, right? I think it's more fun to help you do it yourself. So if you have a main light and you want to add bars, tell me what your main light is, and then I can spec the spectrum for your bars. That way you can order some custom bars and get something that complements your main light instead of, like Reef Bright sells you 450, 470. This is what you're going to use. That's not necessarily what I want. What I want is custom? And you could do that for like $60 for a 24-inch. I think that's more valuable, right? So I don't necessarily need to put together a package when I could just point you in the right direction. Hopefully that makes sense. What's up, Darth? T5 retrofits. Yeah. I think they're much the same as there will be no money in metal halides and T5s in a few years. That's how I feel about T5 retrofits, right? Just toss the T5 fixture and get yourself an LED fixture, something that matches the spectrum you like. And I can help. Make it 4 on something Phillips. Oh, that's 4. Gotcha. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, right? Do you think they fancied it up a little bit? Because the Philips is a stupid-looking light. Totally functional. Weighs like my Civic hanging over your tank. I wonder if they fancied it up. Of course, they're going to add some orange to it, right? A little orange, something, a little sticker. A little sticker says Neptune. The Coral Connoisseur. Can't wait for the light bars to arrive. Thanks again for the recommendation. What spectrum did you get? Remind me. I think I could go back and chat, but you're here, so I'll just ask. Where do you think the next thing will come from relation to technology? Black Pearl, are we talking about reefing? So it's already here, right? But I think it's expensive. The one thing that screws everybody, well, two things. The one thing that's really difficult is parameters, right? I'm running a GHL KHD with automatic dosing, so my tank's alkalinity is totally on autopilot. I don't do anything. I don't have to adjust anything. The KH director measures alkalinity, and it tells my doser how much 2-part to put in the tank. Now, I'm always dosing calc, right? That's always the basement. That's always the foundation. That's always the thing that all dosing is built on top of, and I think everybody should do that. But the KHD tells the doser how much stuff to dose because of auto testing. What I think the big thing that will make and I don't know, what's it going to do to the hobby? I would prefer everybody be successful, right? It shouldn't be an old boys club. This shouldn't be an elitist thing. This shouldn't be learn a whole bunch of stuff and not tell people, right? Carlos is really good about that. Actually, everybody who I interact with, they're awesome about it. They want to provide information. But Carlos helped me through a tough period because he's open with his information. He's open with his experience. Phil, too. Auto testing, inexpensive and comprehensive auto testing, turns everybody's tank a completely different direction, because you can then dial your tank in to, and I'm gonna use lighting as whatever. If you buy an Ecotech and you run AB+, it's a proven spectrum that you know works. So if you get an auto tester, you run a proven program that sets your parameters at this, connected to a doser to maintain those parameters perfectly, done. That's hands off, right? So I think that's the next big thing, is affordable, comprehensive auto testing and control through dosing pumps. That has to be inexpensive. Right? That can't be a $2,000 proposition. And it is right now. So that's a lot of money. So I think that is the first thing. The second thing is a complete understanding, a comprehensive understanding of bacteria. Locally here with Moki and Ben and Daniel, I've been talking bacteria for so long. The problem I have with bacteria is it's invisible to me, right? It's very difficult to test. You can send in test kits. You can do these things that give you a decent view of your flora and fauna of your tank, right? But then what the hell do you do with the information? Here is all the information we've gleaned from your bacterial test because we did DNA sequencing, and this is what's up. Now what? That's the next big thing in bacteria. Step by step, right? Dr. Timms gives you this. Here's your test. Here is your recipe to maintain a perfectly balanced bacterial colony in your, or colonies, right? Different strains in your tank. This will keep it perfect. This will keep your nitrates and your phosphates where they should be, such that the auto testing and dosing complements that and keeps you nice and solid. Those are my picks. Does that make sense? Laser diodes. What'd you say, May? Yeah, let me know what a test is. I got some lights out there. I'll sacrifice a light for you. Let me know. Hello from Edwards. Legit? Love the run story. Tell me the run story. Wait. What did I say? What did I tell? What's up, Paul? Are you legit at Edwards? 15 years, baby. Laser diodes. Maybe. What I expect to see is like microdiodes, tiny little diodes, different kind of diodes that can be cooled efficiently, that can be driven hotter. And they're so small that it looks like a TV. And you're hanging a TV over your tank with such tiny little points of light where you can control all of it, where you no longer get any disco. You're effectively getting that blanket of a T5, but generated by a clean photon from an LED, if that makes sense. That's what I think. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, laser's just focused, right? I've played around with lasers a little bit here and there. The Philips is a tank, heavy duty, two sides by side. Look like bad actually compared to. Yeah, but they're working for you, right? One took a swim. They are hosses. That's a big old light. But the light makes sense to me. 81 watt, 450, 470. So the same spectrum. So Coral Connoisseur's got the same spectrum, 81 watt. Which one is that? Is that the middle one? Is that the 36 inch? With the same spectrum of Reef Bright. So every other. I think Apex will make a slimmer with active cooling. I don't think so. That's an interesting position, but I doubt it. They're going to want to say their lights don't have fans because everybody else has fans except for ATI. right? No way. I think they would make it, I don't know what they would do. They're going to make it orange for sure. That's going to look stupid. But, yeah, I don't know. No way would they add a fan. No way. Call me out if I'm wrong. 3-time prime running AB+. Those little primes are nice. Are you listening to Reef Breeders podcast? If so, what do you think of the whole idea that we keep our tanks too stable? Ocean's pretty stable. The ocean's pretty stable. For the most part, right? Coral reefs, like thriving coral reefs, are generally pretty stable. Do we keep them too stable? I don't know. Do we put ourselves in a position where we foster a whole lot of bad bacteria? Yeah. Do we keep them too stable? That's tough to quantify. That's just an opinion. And we've talked about opinions before, right? Who hooked me up? What's up, Damon? Thank you so much. That's very cool. Thank you. So, yeah, very difficult to quantify too stable. So, I mean, do we introduce instability? And if so, how? Because there's plenty of people out there introducing instability and they're not successful. Looking for bars. AliExpress bars. Listen to a new episode of Reef Therapy podcast the other day. Do you think our tanks can be too... Same thing, right? I don't know. Ask the people that don't have stability. Ask Moki, before he got all his sweet testing equipment, how he feels about instability. I'll bet he'll tell you, I don't know. Uh-oh. Sufficient reefers looking at the... Look, a whole lot of people are successful with Apex. I can't contradict that. I think we could be making our corals too used to stability. I don't know. That sounds like chatter. Quantify it. Show me the data. Then I'll agree. Like, take a tank that's perfectly stable and growing like crazy. Go over to Reef Bum's house. Pretty stable. Go over to Keith's. Check out his tank. I bet it's pretty damn stable and the coral's growing like crazy. Tell Keith you want to add a little bit of instability to his system. Let me know how that works out. I'll have to check out the podcast. That's cool. Have you seen an auto tester? Parker's Reef. Spin Stream. I've heard about the Spin Stream. Originally intended for pools, right? That's what it was for. And a little... Who was talking about it? Meckley was talking about it at ACI. I think he has a couple. Maybe one or a couple. You got to know how to use the thing. Otherwise, it's just not accurate. Some people have accuracy issues with it, and some people know how to use it. That's all I know about it. I don't even know if I've even seen. No, I looked it up once. How much is it? +1 for bacteria innovation being on the horizon. Paula Powell, yeah, you know what? I hit up Brightwell. I was like, and this was before you could get a bacterial test from whatever that company is. I can't remember right now. And I was like, you need to offer a bacteria test and offer a recipe based on that test. Nothing. One day we'll get it. What's up, Valhalla? Lancaster. At 411th. Nice. See, that's back in the day. Good to have you here, Paul. It makes me miss it. I don't so much... Don't take this wrong. I don't so much miss Lancaster, but I miss, for those Pennsylvania people out there, it's Lancaster. But that's not how they say it in California. It's Lancaster, and it's Roseman, and it's Tehachapi, and it's Edwards, and Boron, and Barstow, and the Fun 15 all the way up to Vegas. So, yeah, I don't miss Lancaster, but I absolutely miss Tehachapi. I dig living there. And I miss seeing all the cool things flying around Edwards. Absolutely. I just took my Spectral Pure Fuge light off and replaced it with a $20 UFO from Amazon. Should work a lot better seeing it's 40 watts. Fuge lights are pretty easy, right? Pelfrey's out of the hobby. He bailed, and I don't blame him. He's got some life stuff to do, and he wants to go to the beach, and he wants to stop worrying about reef tanks. So that's cool. Cheers, Pelfrey. You were cool, Jason. I hope to talk to you one day and share a table with you and buy you a beer. Pelfrey hooked me up with the light, the Fuge light that I'm using. I have I don't know where it is. I have a Kessel Fuge light somewhere in the basement, but I got the Pelfrey one, and it grows Chaeto like crazy. Like, you could look back at his posts, and you could see how often he was trimming back his Chaeto, and that stuff works great for me. I think this light was like $20 or something. You're all right, Damon. Thank you so much. Train corals to endure fluctuations by changing parameters. If you don't have fluctuations, do you need to train your corals to be comfortable with them? I don't know. It's really... Dude, arm hair is legit. That's legit. Arm hair. The arm hair thing was funny. Arm hair will make it unstable. You know what? If you stick both your arms in the tank, it'll suck out all the nitrates because it'll bind to your arm hair. And you're going to cause instability. So there you go. All of us arm in tank people with no gloves, we're offering instability to our tanks every day. The hubby printed the nozzle for me, and they are awesome. May I? I think I sent you the right one. I think I sent you the latest version. So you should be cool, right? Did you put it on your tank? Did it work? Do you think the progression of bacteria knowledge could aid in the prevention of RTN and STN? Yes, absolutely I do. I do. Because if you could figure out how to, and I'm playing with it a little bit, and I'm overdosing some stuff just to see if my alkalinity has increased, or consumption has increased, I don't know. The theory is stable ones are easiest to knock over. I challenge that assertion only because I think if we don't spend our time and effort worrying about stability versus instability, spend your time and effort and money, take my money, please, on a bacterial solution. Here's your tank, here's what's up, this is what you need to do, take another test in 6 months, let's see where you are. It's like cholesterol tests for your tank. Don't eat. Here's your test. Surprise, surprise. Your good cholesterol is low, and your bad cholesterol is high, and your whatever. Your triglycerides are a mess. Here's your recipe. Come back and see us in 6 months, and we'll give you another test, and we'll tune you. That's what I want to see with bacteria. I'm not speaking from life experiences or anything. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. That makes sense to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't mind being wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. Intercoastal reefs go through some swings throughout the day. True, they do. Temperature, right? But not, it's mostly temperature, Chris. So it's not so much parameters, right? I'd be surprised. Intercoastal. You talk about has access to brackish, does a little swing in that way. You get some swings based on how much river water you got coming into the systems. Yes. I don't know. I don't know that I want to introduce that kind of whatever. What I'd like to understand is how to maintain stability and how to ensure success based on parameters and bacteria. I think those are the keys. And once everybody got parameters pretty much figured out. For the most part, you have this band of acceptability, right? I've talked about this before. And as long as you stay in here, you're pretty good. There are some that are on the high side or the low side of the band of acceptability. But whatever. Now give me some information, some legit data about bacteria and what I could do about it. I think you put us in a decent place. I randomly dropped into the live stream and started Googling arm hair and reefs. So there was this one time when I did a bad advice episode where I said arm hair is the reason why people have low nitrates, because they stick their arms in the tank. Nitrates bond to the arm hair, and then poof, your nitrates are low. That had some legs, and that made its way a little bit to different places, and it came back to me, and I'm like, no, man, I'm just making that up. But it was funny. Why are testers so expensive? If you're talking about that open box GHL, that's a really good deal on a really good controller, something that's going to last forever. So that's true, but it only costs that much once, May. Just that much once, especially at that price. That's a great price. Have you heard about the CT light LEDs? I have not. What you got, Mikey? Terrence said back in November that the Sky would be more affordable than the current LED options. Really? From freaking Neptune, something's going to be affordable? Born and raised in Barstow. No shit, Phil? That's awesome. Turned 18, joined the Air Force, and never went back except to visit family. Del Taco. Dude, I miss Rubio's. That's what I miss. I would, when I was going to college, I was doing night school. I'm a night school guy. And when I was attending Embry-Riddle at night, there was a Rubio's, which is a fish taco place down in Palmdale, right by Lockheed, where I would roll out from Edwards, haul down to Rubio's, get myself my tacos, and then head over to school. And I would eat in the parking lot. That was my dinner, right? I mean, I was in high school. I would eat in the parking lot, in that Lockheed Building's parking lot, and chow down on my tacos, and then head up and do my few hours of school. I miss Rubio's. There's no Rubio's on the East Coast. That pisses me off. If you got a Rubio's and you're on the East Coast and you know where it is, I'll drive to it. I miss that. It's hard to get good fish tacos on the East Coast. I can tell you that. They don't know what's up. They don't get it all. West Coast fast food fish tacos are better than East Coast, like, not fast food fish tacos. They don't get it here. Have you tried sodium hydroxide? Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that, aren't we? That's my last thing, I think. Have I tried sodium hydroxide? Yeah, I've been running it for about a month now. pH gains are amazing. What concentration are you running? Like, are you mixing your own, or are you buying it pre-made? Is it like 0.1 mole or 1? What do you got? What about the Hydros Control 4? May, I've got a Hydros Control 2, and I will go GHL all day long before our Hydros. Absolutely all day long. I am not a fan. Other people are having luck, but I call it luck. I am not a fan of Wi-Fi connected power bars, period. They are not reliable enough. Because I've got the eCoral Pro with 2 Wi-Fi connected power bars, and I have the Hydros Control 2 with 1 Wi-Fi controlled power bar, and both of those controllers have lost control of their power bars at least once. It's been several times, but at least once. By the way, I agree with you, Jim. Just saying, Reef therapy was talking about. Oh, dude, that's what happens, Valhalla. By the time I get down here, I was like, what were we talking about? What? Indos monsoon rains and cold. So, oh yeah. I got you. But do we really want to do that? I'm not sure that's what we want to do. Maybe we do, but I don't think we need to do that. How are you going to create a recipe for instability? I don't want to do that. I want a stable reef system with a recipe for solid bacteria that does what I needed to do in the tank. Andrew Newton. Yeah. My arm hair is higher in nitrates than phosphates. I cut my arm hair to lower it, but bottomed it out and got dino arms. See, no, he didn't. Bert cut all his arm hair off because he thinks it looks sexy, because he's all swolled. He's old, he's fit, and he doesn't want arm hair getting in the way of his sexy. Just slows him down. like swimmers. Now, Bert's trimming that arm hair back because it's slowing him down for something other than swimming. But that's what he's doing. I'm just saying. Rubio's fish tacos are amazing. See, Justin knows what's up. God, I miss Rubio's. I really do. And that little bar with the hot sauces and the thing. Oh, I miss that. Whew. Food grade, 100% pure. Sodium hydroxide powder from Amazon mixed 1.25 cup per gallon. So that stuff is super soluble in water, right? I don't remember how many kgs can mix up in a liter. I have a chat, and I'd have to go, but then I'd be all quiet while I'm looking. So what I'm using right now is, first, there's very little difference between calcium hydroxide, Kalkwasser, potassium hydroxide, and sodium hydroxide. Very little difference, right? All of them are super high pH, maybe around 14-ish. The chemists in the house will correct me. I'm rounding. So, dependent upon concentration, the pH is going to be up around 14. So, first, calcium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide, generally the same safety precautions. We just don't follow them in reefing because we really should. But those of us that are playing with dry calc, we really should be careful. It's pretty caustic. It's not good for you. It can burn you. Don't inhale it. It's bad for you. So just be careful with it. Use it, but be careful with it. Sodium hydroxide, similar problems. It is a little more dangerous. Just a tiny bit, though. I mean, not a tiny bit. Just a little bit. So be careful. And then potassium hydroxide. The reason I don't use like Macleod ACI, the reason I don't use potassium hydroxide, because for whatever reason, my potassium's really high. So what I don't know is if the calc I have has potassium in it as well. I don't know. But I was using BRS. Right now I'm using 2 little fishies because that was one of the changes I made when the tank had problems because I just didn't know what was causing it. But I also haven't tested my potassium in a while. So I'm using sodium hydroxide and calcium hydroxide, right? Calcium hydroxide is calc. And I've already explained that is the foundation of all of my dosing. I'm dosing half a gallon of calc a day, every day. And that is the most I can add due to summer evaporative rates, because evaporation is less in the summer. It doesn't matter if your air conditioner is on or not. Those of us who have seasons have more evaporation during the winter than we do in the summer. So the most I can add without raising the level of my, holy shit, I've almost been on an hour and a half, raising the level of my sump too high is a half a gallon. So that's all I can do. And then I do 2-part on top of that. What I'm trying to do with the sodium hydroxide is it's on a different doser, right? It's on a Camor X1. What I'm trying to do is just dose in the overnight hours just a little bit. I don't want to impact my alkalinity, so I'm being really careful with it. But I'm going to slowly start raising the nighttime pH using sodium hydroxide. Now you'll see precautions, right? You'll see be really careful with potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide. You should use the same precautions as calcium hydroxide that you do with the others. But anybody that tells you it is really dangerous hasn't hung out with anybody making soap, because they're using potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide in the process that makes soap. Just respect it, right? It's not crazy dangerous. Don't breathe it. Don't drink it. Don't pour it on yourself. Treat it like drain cleaner. And then you'll be fine. BC. Now, I don't think that's a thing. Maybe it is. I just don't know. Vegan fish tacos, Rubio style, pretty good, Paul. Tofu? Firm tofu? What are you using? That sounds kind of tasty. I'm kind of hungry. That's what I got. All right, y'all. I'm going to recap We cool? That's an hour and a half. How long have I been on? An hour and a half? We're going to recap. Put it in your calendars. Call me out. Everybody call me out on Instagram. The end of 2023. No more metal halides. The end of 2030. No more T5s. Not that one. This one. If you need nozzles, better yet, if you need the STL and you know somebody with a 3D printer or you have one of your own, hit me up. I'll hook you up. If you need a nozzle, I've been given permission to sell them. And I just haven't done it yet. But maybe I'll print a whole bunch and I'll be able to sell them. And I can also make custom sizes because like my tank needs a custom size. So if you need something custom, you need something like a 1 inch, you need to go big, let me know. Maybe I can help you out. Did you just doy me, Paul? Right on. Batteries. Buy some batteries. I'm buying a spot welder, and I'm gonna use this pack. This is 12 volts. I'm gonna use this pack because it's 300 amps coming out of this thing. It'll discharge at 300 amps to power the spot welder. Because I'm going to play with this stupid thing later, Bert. Potassium hydroxide, batteries, metal halide T5s, old boy Meckley at ACI. I've been liking his videos lately. And potassium or sodium hydroxide. That's it. That's all I got. What's up, Greg? Can I do a 40 millimeter nozzle? Yes. Are you telling me 40 millimeters in here? That kind of thing? Yes. I can do any side you need. Greg, if you got something you can, like if you can measure it legit with calipers or something, I can create a nozzle that'll fit. B, yes. NaH. Oh, interesting. I know, Bert. It's okay. You're old like me. All right, y'all. I think that's it. This has been a long one. Yeah, those are 18650s. I don't like 18650s, right? Because they like to catch on fire and stuff. But I have all these 18650s, so I want to turn them into a 24-volt pack. Or no, wait. Yeah, maybe. I just got to wire it up right. I don't have any 24-volt packs. I don't know. I got to do something with this thing. I don't know what I'm going to do. This might just become a big phone charger. I don't know. Oh, a 40 millimeter slip? I could do that. Do you need... So you wouldn't want that, Greg. You'd want a 40 millimeter lock, right? To go to a lock nozzle. So 40 millimeter slip to a lock, right? I think that's probably what you want. You tell me. All right, y'all. I'm going to head out. It's 9 o'clock. I'm going to get downstairs and find something. Dude. Godzilla vs. Kong sucked. Not my thing. Ugh. Like, I'd rather watch Pacific Rim than Godzilla vs. Kong. What was the other one? What's the new one? The one, Mortal Kombat. That sucked. I was all excited. The only thing I've liked out of HBO lately is the Snyder cut, so there's that. But yeah, I was really bummed that the stupid Mortal Kombat sucked. Whatever. NaCl, 700 mils a day. 7,000 mils a day. Yeah, that's about right? Isn't that close to half a gallon? You tell me. Yeah, it should be a half a gallon. If I got that right. ML2. Nope, way off. 1.8 gallons. So there's that. Come on, Kay, you like that? Let's get at this. Wait a minute, I got 1 minute for you. Seriously? Did you like that? Oh no. Yeah, the trailer did look good, but the movie sucked. I tried to like it. I'll watch it again. Maybe I missed the whole idea of it, but come on. All right, Carlos. All right, y'all. I think I'm going to bail. I owe you testing of this thing. By the way, these are SMC, little SMC LEDs in there, and this thing is really bright. So and you saw it, right? It was pulling 100 watts, so I'm really interested to see what this thing could do. I'm going to run it through the same gauntlet, right? The 24 by 24 and right spread, spectrum, par, how to set it, what settings, all that. I don't know how I feel about that, and I'm not sure I like the mount, but whatever. This is an interesting option in a budget light world. I'm also going to do that one that Ben's Nems, right? That buddy of Tyler and Bahama Llama, Remy. He's got that. Relicy? It was a Relicy light. I have one of those downstairs, and I never did a dealio on that. Thanks, Dad. Octopus Teacher. I love that. I watched that movie. I watched that BC. I like that. Yeah, okay. This is it's cheaper than the Noop. I don't know how I feel about the mount. But yeah, similar, but cheaper than the Noop. I tested a Noop, right, so I'll be able to compare them directly. And what else? That's probably all I owe you. Once we're done with the battery, right? So now we're going to move on to doser. After doser, we're going to be looking at a calc stir, even though I don't know that I'm interested in that. Yeah. Well, it was Bosley, wasn't it? What is the price of this light? I don't know. I posted it. Check out my Instagram. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. No, I did. Check that out. And then, I don't know. Well, if you want to wait, I'll tell you. Control with a stupid mini remote. See, I don't understand the challenge with... Look. I don't know why we need phone apps. I don't know why we need apps for lights. Set your damn light and forget it. You don't need to be fiddling with it, right? I don't know why we got to pay for like Bluetooth licensing and all that crap that we don't need. If the light has local controls, set it and forget it. I think we've been duped into wanting light phone apps. The only value of a phone app for a light is acclimation. That's it. I don't get it. All right, let me look. Let me look how much this light was. And then I'm going to leave. I don't want to buy it again. I already bought it. Your orders delivered yesterday. This is a stupid name. This light is $85. That's pretty cheap. So if it does anything near a Noop, that's not a bad damn deal, right? Yeah, Relicy came up with a new one. They hit me up. What they wanted me to do was buy it, and then if I reviewed it, they would reimburse me. I think it's better for me to buy it, and if I like it, I'll keep it. And if I don't like it, I'll return it. But what I don't need is a reimbursement based on review. I'm not sure how whatever. I could just buy the damn thing. Gotcha, Kay. All right, y'all. Half the price of a Noop. Yup. And it comes with a stupid remote that you don't need. And it's not 600 watts. No, not even close. Not even close. None of it. All right, y'all. No, for reals. I'll keep chatting. Don't make me keep chatting. Jeez. All right. I hope you had a great night. I sure did. And thanks for the chat. I do appreciate it. I hope you are... I'll always wish this. I hope you're well. I hope your families are well. And I hope you're looking forward to next week. I hope you got something cool coming your way. All right. Enjoy your night. Thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out. Happy reefing. Be kind, everyone. Bye-bye. This is the awkward time.